Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. This is our show where we show you some of the biggest and most exciting books that you can pre-order. Your pre-orders are due Sunday at around 9. So we want to give you the biggest, best stuff that we think you want to see and that you'll want to pre-order from your local comic shop or ours, because you can always head over to infinityflux.net where you can pre-order any of these books you see us go over, subscribe to the series, everything that you pre-order you get 10% off of. So that's pretty exciting, and we've got a really good solid week of books to go over.
Yes.
So I think all the companies are representing in one way or
Yep.
another. Very exciting. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with our featured comics. These are kind of the most exciting things that we most want to talk about, and we think maybe need the most information relayed about them. And starting off with Batman, Gargoyle of Gotham, Gotham of Gargoyle.
There's just gargoyles in Gotham in this book. Yeah.
Batman's a spooky gargoyle. Batman Gargoyle of Gotham is a new miniseries. It's going to be 4 issues and is written and drawn by RAFAEL GRAMPA. If you're not familiar with his art, he did
Like the covers on Berserker, right?
yes, he did those. He did that Dark Knight 3, The Golden Child.
Oh yeah.
Very unique, interesting design style, all his own. Uh, just very, very cool. He even kind of every time he does something, he kind of redesigns a costume to fit more of his style and everything. But in this one, Batman has decided to completely kill off Bruce Wayne. Uh, his persona, Bruce Wayne, so he can completely focus on being Batman. Now, Bruce Wayne has always been kind of a balance for Batman. He kind of retains his humanity.
Yeah.
This is Batman going 100% into his Batman persona, and with that, definitely gets darker as he embraces the kind of the the Dark Knight within himself. You'll have to. I've kind of skimmed the issue. You'll have to see.
It
kind
does
of
look
what
really
means.
cool.
Yeah.
Visually it looks great. And one thing too is this is a Black Label book, so
Yeah.
it's its own thing. No worries about any other continuity.
And in this, kind of a new rogues gallery pops up when this happens, and they'll have to contend with this new version of Batman, but also the kind of very nature of evil. Can he pull himself out of that? Is Batman evil now? It's very cool. It's not as kind of dark as it sounds. Still has a lot of action and everything, but it sounds really, really cool. So if you're a fan of that, maybe a little bit darker edge Batman, you will be really into this one. So there's some really great covers for this as well. This is our a cover by Grandpa. We have a Jim Lee variant, but this is definitely Jim Lee channeling Grandpa's art style.
That is, isn't it?
Yep,
Wow.
that's Jim Lee. So very cool look there. And that's kind of a look at what his costume looks like in this series. We have a Frank Miller. Speaking of, kind of, you can see a little of that blueprint in this story of Dark Knight Returns. Then we have a David Finch cover. And they are doing this. Someone said it looks like Batman's naked. I can completely see that. But this is the Batman Gargoyle of Gotham Noir edition. And this is going to be a black and white kind of art focused version. It's still going to have the dialogue, it's going to have all the text and everything, but it's going to be a black and white edition as well.
That's interesting because usually those kinds of books come out after, like weeks later, so it's weird that it's coming out at the same time.
Yeah.
All right, so next from Marvel, we have Avengers Inc. #1. This is written by Al Ewing with art by Leonard Kirk. And in this one, it's kind of a team-up book between Janet Van Dyne and Victor Shade, who is an alter ego of Vision that he's used several times in the past. So Janet Van Dyne is investigating a long-buried conspiracy and a slew of murders of supervillains, not by supervillains, but supervillains who have been murdered. And Victor Shade has also recently been murdered as well. But I guess he doesn't die. He's an android, right? So I guess he comes back somehow. But together, they are going to set out to solve every mystery in the Marvel universe, which sounds pretty like a pretty lofty feat.
Yeah.
The like the specific story details of this one are still pretty light. We still don't know what mysteries they are and that kind of stuff, and we don't even know why Vision is adopting this Victor Shade persona, because right
Does he
now
have any control over it? It almost sounds like he's not quite the Vision.
well, he has in the past.
Yeah.
So that's a good question. I don't know why he's doing this now. I don't know why, because in this listation it says that he is a villain, but I don't know what's going on with that, because right now he's flying around with the Avengers over in the Avengers book. So lots more to find out, but this does seem like a much more grounded Avengers book, a much more spy espionage kind of thing. Much different from the Avengers by Jed McKay right now, where they're fighting cosmic beings. So, but still, a nice different flavor of Avengers with some cool members and maybe a lot more surprises. So I guess we'll have to see. We've got the A cover right here, and then we've got the Alex Ross connecting variant. There's the Erica Durso variant, the Lionel Francis Yu variant, the Romero Avengers 60th anniversary variant. That's really cool. And then the Sean Galloway Saturday morning variant, which that one's a lot of fun too.
Yeah, and that A cover kind of reminds me of like almost like an X-Files look to them.
Yeah, or kind of the Avengers, like the Emma Peel.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like that. Those Avengers.
It's gonna be very interesting because I feel like this is a book that like you can read about it, but we're not gonna quite know the feel or the tone of it until we actually read it.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of questions still.
Yeah. So next up, we've got a new mini-series. This is Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, and if you can't tell from the cover here, this is going to be like how they do the Mandalorian comic series. It's going to be an adaptation of the Disney Plus show. So this is, I'm guessing, as much going to be like each issue represents the one episode, and so you can kind of figure out what's going to happen each issue by that if you've watched the show. But because of that, just like the Mandalorian one, you can also kind of foresee first appearances coming when you know what happens in the episode. So we are going to be getting the first appearance of at least Reva, the Inquisitor. I believe the High Inquisitor has appeared in other things, so I don't believe it's going to be his first appearance, but young Leia. Just a lot of fun things. And I want to see how this is adapted. The Mandalorian's pretty much one for one scenes, but Salvador LaRocca is going to be drawing this one, so it'll be interesting to see if he brings some of that flavor of like, let's turn the scene a little bit, maybe show you a little bit something else. So we'll have to wait and see for sure to find out. But I'm very excited about this. I love the show, and I can't wait for the issue where we get the big Obi-Wan Vader fight again.
Oh yeah,
I want to read that scene play out. But very cool one here. So we've got some covers for this. This is the A cover by Phil Noto. We have the photo variant, and we have the Turin Clarke variant as well.
So we had a Noto and a photo cover.
Yep, the Noto photo combo.
All right, so next one is really cool. Birds of Prey #1. This is from Kelly Thompson, which I think this is her first work at DC. Is that? I don't quite remember. Yeah, possibly. With art by Leonardo Romero. So we are past the Night Terrors pre-orders now, so those are all done. So we're back on track with DC proper. In this one, Black Canary pulls together Harley Quinn, Cassandra Cain, Big Barda, and Zealot to face a personal mission brought to her by a mysterious new ally. They have one goal: extraction without bloodshed. So it sounds like maybe they're going to have to go on a rescue mission. We don't quite know what it is yet, but it's just cool to have a Birds of Prey book again because it's been a long time.
It's going to be a hard job for that team. You brought Harley in,
Yeah,
Zealot. Big Barda. It's like no bloodshed.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if Barda could do something subtle and not just knock.
Yeah, and even Cassandra Cain's gonna want to bloody up somebody, So super excited. These are all fantastic characters, and Birds of Prey is always a good time. So we have this A cover right here. We've also got our ARTGERM variant featuring Big Barda. We've got our Chris Bachalo variant, and then a blank sketch cover. You can draw your own birds of prey lineup.
Draw a bird on it.
Yeah, the bird praying.
Next up is a new indie book from Image. This is Kill Your Darlings. So this is by Ethan S. Parker, Griffin Sheridan, John J. Hill, and Bob Quinn. A lot of people working on this. And this sounds really interesting. So it's an 8-year-old girl named Rose who loves playing pretend. She's a very vivid and active imagination when she plays with her dolls or toys, her stuffed animals, all of that. She creates these worlds and these epic storylines and everything. But one day, that kind of line between reality and the imagination dissolves, and this becomes she's pulled into a centuries old saga, uh, and an ancient hunger is released. So this is really cool. From the preview pages I checked out for this, it's really cool to see her playing with things and then seeing what her imagination is seeing. So you may have like this goofy teddy bear like sitting over here, just kind of slumped over, and a bunch of little toys sitting around there, and then you see what it is, and it's this bear king sitting on a throne with all these soldiers around.
I love that kind of stuff.
Such a cool interpretation of that, and it's going to be interesting to see how does she go into that world? Do those things come to the real world? I'm not quite sure yet, but a very imaginative new series that I'm really looking forward to. Seems like visually it's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah.
So this is our A cover for that. We also have a Ryan Stegman variant.
Okay,
So
I
it
like
looks
that.
like, yeah, maybe they come into the real world because it's.
Why are her bears jelly filled?
Yeah, strawberry.
That's what it
jelly
is, right?
everywhere. She's kind of got that like a possessed look to
Yeah,
her.
that's a great cover. I love
It's really
that.
good.
Yeah.
Very interesting Ryan Stegman cover.
All right, so next one is a Werewolf by Night. I think this is a one shot, but we don't quite know for sure, so don't take our 100% word for it. But this one features Jack Russell racing to rescue a little girl from a sacrifice at the hands of some monsters, and Elsa Bloodstone is not far behind him. So basically, they're going to team up, like Werewolf by Night and Elsa Bloodstone. This is coming out near the end of September, I believe.
Yeah.
So right in time for spooky season, which sounds really fun. They're gonna team up, but they're probably gonna fight first. Their team
Of
up
course.
may be a little bit strenuous, but just a really fun book getting us ready for spooky season. Werewolf by Night. I'm gonna watch the MCU special again. Every October
I like
nowadays.
Werewolf not by Night because he's such a he's not a hero and he's not a villain. He is like the quintessential like gray area character.
Yeah.
It's like, don't mess with me, I won't mess with you type
Yeah.
thing. But I will fight anybody who comes
Yeah.
at me.
Elsa Bloodstone, you
Yes.
hear that? I will fight you. It's gonna be super fun. So we have our A cover here. We have our Adam Hughes variant, which is great, and then we have a David Yarden variant as well. I like that.
Looks like they're teaming up.
Well, probably after they fought,
Unless
though.
they're like slowly backing up and they're about to touch backs and flip around.
Right. And I like that
Scooby-Doo
it's
stuff.
it's like looks like it's been stressed, like an old comic,
Yeah.
all the wrinkles and everything.
So next up, we have a new Blue Beetle ongoing series, just in time for the Blue Beetle movie. We just saw it's getting some good press.
Yep.
Very excited about that. But this is kind of I wouldn't say continuation, but it does build off of the previous Blue Beetle Graduation Day miniseries that just ended not that long ago.
Which was really fun. I recommend that one if you're you go see the movie and you want to read some more Blue Beetle. That miniseries is really fun.
Feels like they're kind of trying to get all their Blue Beetle stuff in line.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you see the movie, this is kind of where you slip into the series.
Right. Right.
Not that it rebooted, but it's kind of a new jumping on point. So this is by your team of Blue Beetle Graduation Day, Josh Trujillo and Adrian Gutierrez. And in this new ongoing series, there's not a whole lot said about it, but it does look like Blue Beetle is moving, since he actually did graduate in Graduation Day. He graduated high school. He is going off to college in a new city.
I'd forgotten that happened, that he graduated in graduation. I forgot about that.
It's kind of the double meaning of the thing. But he is moving to a new city. He is now kind of mentoring two new beetles. They're not Blue Beetles. I believe it's
new Beetles.
Green Beetle and another. I don't remember what the other one is. But yes, they're new beetles that he's training, all the while trying to kind of adapt to his new life in the new city, plus being a superhero. And something in this new city is kind of lurking in the shadows. if it's anything like what we see on that cover down at the bottom, it looks like another Beetle-like character is kind of lurking there. But I love this. We see Ted Kord's on there. The Beetle Mobile. What's
The bug.
the bug?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I know it has a
The
name.
Beetle.
The Beetle Mobile. That's probably also a real thing.
Oh, I hope so.
But I love Ted Kord. Love to see that he's
Mhm.
still incorporated in this
Yeah.
and everything.
I love the idea of Ted Kord in a mentor role. That's great.
Yeah.
And he was a little bit of that in the Graduation Day miniseries. So just really good stuff.
Yeah, so really excited for this one. I'm excited that Blue Beetle is getting this ongoing
Yep.
series and he can be brought back into the fold of the main DC universe. So this is our A cover. We also have this Cully Hamner variant, which he was one of the original creators of this version of Blue Beetle.
This is La Fuente, isn't it?
Is this?
You see
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. There is a Cully Hamner thing. Not on this. I believe it's an incentive.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we have this really cool Valentira variant, very kind of Aztec-y
Yeah.
looking. We have a Villalobos Hispanic Heritage Month variant. And this is really cool. They've done this with some of the Blue Beetle books. There is a Spanish edition as
Yep.
well, where the whole book is in Spanish.
Yeah, Graduation Day had those. All the
Yeah.
issues were like that.
So I think that's really cool. So either if that's your native language, or you want to brush up on Spanish, get them both, hold them side by side, try to translate them. Really fun stuff.
And I love the Dawn of DC banner on that because this fits right in with
Yeah.
everything they're doing under Dawn of DC. I'm so excited for this. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be great.
And Starfire's in it as well, which
That's
I'm
right.
excited about.
Yep. Oh, it's gonna be great. All right, so this is going to be great too. Alligator Loki. This is a one shot that collects the Marvel Unlimited Infinity comic. I don't remember how many parts that ran, but this is going to put them all together in a physical form. But it also includes a never before seen adventure. So if you've read the digital version and you want more, definitely pick this up because there's going to be an extra story in it that we haven't seen. And I love so the details are light on this one, and I haven't read the digital version, so I can't speak to the story. But I love in this solicitation, it says, first he chomped down on Mjolnir, and then he chomped his way into our hearts. I just think that's all I need. Like, I don't need every solicitation just to be like that.
Yeah.
But so yeah, if you're a fan of Alligator Loki, obviously this is a more fun, humorous, comedic book. But if you are a fan of this character and you just want to have some fun, definitely pick this one up. And who knows, maybe this will lead to some other books as well. So we've got our A cover here. We also have our Dolly variant and then the Scotty Young variant, which is fantastic. I love that so much.
Yeah, he definitely got some fans after his appearance in the Loki TV
For
show.
sure, yeah.
So you can bet he's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
going to be back.
Because I think the Infinity comic came out after.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely a result of all that.
Okay, next up we have a new DC book. This is a mini series, yeah, 6 issues long. This is Fire and Ice: Welcome to Smallville. This is by Joanne Starrer and Natasha Bustos, and this is really cool. Can you remember the book that this came out of, where it was a Superman
Um,
backup story, right? Not in the main Superman book, but maybe in action
I
or
don't
something.
think it was action. I don't. Wasn't it a Fire and Ice one shot or something? I don't remember. But yeah, there was
Yeah.
a backup story in some book recently.
Where Fire and Ice, who are very classic Justice League heroes back from the 80s.
Yeah, after Crisis. I think it was mid to late 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're kind of always teamed up together. And they've brought them back, and in that one-shot story that we were talking about, basically Fire has some issues and goes off the rails and causes a big disturbance in this city that's kind of not merited. But she blames it all on Guy Gardner, which is fair.
Right.
It's probably his fault anyways. But Superman comes to them and says, like, hey guys, like, I feel like you need some time off. I'm gonna set you up to go to Smallville and kind of collect yourselves and everything. So Superman kind of doesn't banish them, but highly suggests that they go there and reassess their lives. And so in this, we're going to see Fire and Ice in Smallville, where it seems like Ice is really finding her place there. She's enjoying the kind of small town life.
Mhm.
Fire definitely does not enjoy the small town feel, and she's going to do whatever she can to get out, and that includes starting a giant brawl in the middle of Smallville against some of the biggest DC villains and live streaming it.
Okay.
So it's kind of like one of the kids, like, I'm going to cause a biggest ruckus so you can give me what I want. But this sounds really fun, and it's also just going to be about kind of being at a crossroads for superheroes. Like, what do we do with our lives? Do we part ways here? They've always been together. What's going to happen there? So I think this sounds really fun. It's just a mini series, but another classic DC characters getting brought back into
Yeah.
the spotlight.
Like, how great is DC right now? You know, Superman, Batman, but we've had Wonder Woman, obviously, but then the Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Doom Patrol, Fire and Ice, Blue Beetle.
Yeah,
Like, it's just
everyone's getting the love.
yeah, they're finally spreading the love again. It's great.
But we better get some Booster Gold soon.
Right.
That's
Oh, maybe he'll
that's
pop up in Blue Beetle.
Yeah, he should. He's the BFF.
Yeah.
So we've got some variants as well. This is the David Nakayama variant. We have a Jen Bartel variant, and there is a Nakayama foil variant as well.
Nice. I like that one. All right, so here we have Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer. This was originally a Kickstarter book a couple of years back, I think. The solicitation says soon to be an original series on Disney Plus. We couldn't find anything about that, so please do not take that from us. That's just what the solicitation says. I don't know anything about that. But this is described as Django Unchained meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which sounds pretty interesting. So this is described. It is based on Harriet Tubman's true life, but flavored with genre liberties in the spirit of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. So that was a lot of fun. So in this story, there are some slave owners that can't stop the formidable ninja warrior Harriet Tubman. So in this story, she's a ninja warrior, martial artist, a awesome fighter. But they can't stop her, so they call on vampires, werewolves, witches, and demons to stop her in their place. And she is going to have to lead a family of slaves to freedom while also battling an army of darkness. So again, just if you like. What do you call it? Like fictional history, stuff like Abraham Lincoln,
yeah.
Vampire Hunter, like fictional nonfiction or historical fiction or something like that.
There's a historical fiction is usually just like a story that takes place at a certain time, but this is like augmented history.
Yeah, it's has its roots in real history, but then there's a fantastical fictional element to it. So this sounds pretty interesting. We have our A cover here, and then we've got a few variants. We've got our Desjardins cover, and we have a white cover. We have our Randolph cover. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Loftman cover, and then we have our Kirby homage variant. That one is fantastic too. That's great.
Okay, next up we've got other number ones. These are just, there's so many number ones that come out each week. We can't feature them all, but we want to talk about a lot of them. So, moving into these, we have a new Witcher miniseries. It's The Witcher Wild Animals number one. So this is really cool, but I can't, even researching it, the way they worded what this is about is very weird. So it says that Geralt finds that where man and beast coexist, the skills of Witcher go beyond killing monsters. So, does it mean, does he have to just kill animals, or are they animals hiring him to kill people? Or, it's very odd, and you're trying to interpret from the cover and everything.
And he just kills everything that moves.
Yeah, so just really interesting, but The Witcher always has, a cool, interesting narrative to it, kind of a self-contained story. So, this is The Witcher Wild Animals. We got some covers for this. This is our A cover. This is our Fior cover. We've got our Kippen variant. This bunny's about to headbutt.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna kill those bunnies.
And we've got a Matt Smith variant
I like
as
that
well.
one.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got the Venom 2023 annual, and this just continues the Contest of Chaos storyline with Venom going up against Deadpool. I don't know who would win that one. Well, no, I don't even want to speculate. We'll get a bunch of comments. How dare you? So no, I don't know. We just got the Spider-Man annual this week, which kind of kicked. Well, I mean, the Scarlet Witch Angel kicked off the Chaos thing, but the Spider-Man was the first of the doubles. And I still don't quite understand why heroes fighting each other is going to lead to Agatha Harkness creating a new Darkhold. Something about the chaos of it.
The chaos of it and the like when she puts them together, she takes the strongest one out
Right.
of them. So
Yeah, she's definitely definitely like a tournament almost like
yeah,
where and then the winner of each of these battles, she uses them. She's going to use them for something else. We
yeah.
don't know what yet. So if you've been reading these, or if you've been reading Venom, don't miss this. Or if you're running to get all the Contest of Chaos stories, then be sure to pick this up. We have our A cover here, and then we have a Tony Daniel variant as well.
Yeah, maybe we'll see the return of Venom Pool.
Ooh.
It's always a great character.
Neither one wins. They just like morph onto each other.
Okay, next up we've got a new Usagi Yojimbo miniseries starting. I always love these. This is Usagi Yojimbo Ice and Snow #1. And in this, Usagi and his cousin Yokichi are in the northern mountains of Japan where they meet a strange hermit. So if you never read Usagi, do yourself a favor, pick it up. It is so fun. It's so different than a lot of other books being published. Just very classical feeling.
Yeah.
So good. And check this out, a variant by Scotty Young. How
Oh.
cool is that to see his interpretation of Usagi?
Yeah, and that's not your typical Scotty Young cover.
No,
Yeah.
Usagi's not doing something goofy or
Yeah,
like
he's not this big doing something silly. That's
with a
like
big speech bubble and
yeah.
stuff. I really hope now that we've seen the new Ninja Turtles movie and everything. I would love to see Usagi in that
Oh, that'd be great.
style. That would be so cool.
All right, so this is Crusader #1. It's going to be a 4-issue miniseries. A Templar knight is transported to a dangerous realm known as the Beastlands, but there are sinister creatures called the Masters that are hunting him, and all he has at his disposal is his sword and also a strange goblin-like creature named Grimble to guide him through this world, and I guess figure out how he's going to get back home. If you are interested in this, if you want to see it, there are preview pages on Preview World, so you can get a little bit of a sneak peek at this. So we have our A cover here, and then we've got a Matt Walsh variant as well.
Okay, and Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, is getting a new miniseries. It usually ends up being a miniseries. Um, and this is really funny. So I actually really enjoyed the last Sheena series. It was really cool where she was in like a domed. She thought she was in the jungle, but she was actually in a domed like jungle thing.
Ooh, she's like in a biodome.
Yeah, in like a biodome
Polly Shore was
where
there.
they didn't realize she was in there when they created it. So it's cool.
Whoops.
But in this one, this is such a like a kind of a funny sequel idea. You can see it's called Fatal Exams, and in this, Sheena is being sent to boarding school by this kind of foundation. I think that like kind of owns and runs this dome thing because she's pretty savage of a person. It's kind of that classic Tarzan.
Yeah.
She's from the like regular world, but she grew up there, and now they think that she needs to teach her some niceties by going to a boarding school. But of course, it says you can remove the girl from the jungle, but you can't remove the jungle from the girl. And there is a deadly plot brewing at this new school she's going to. So just really interesting. If you haven't tried it out, it's a kind of a fun homage to those classic jungle comics. It was a genre back in the day. So this is our A cover by Prio. We have a Linsner variant, and we have a Sudium variant as well.
All right, so this one sounds really interesting. This is called Mom Breaks the Internet. And no, not by, like accidentally unplugging the Ethernet cable or whatever. This says that Barbie Reed, that's the mother, she gets laid off from her computer programming job on the same day that her 15-year-old daughter, Penny, is arrested at a peaceful protest. She doesn't really know, like, why, like what her, well, it's not necessarily she doesn't know, but she's fed up with, her daughter got arrested at a peaceful protest, and she doesn't like that. She's not happy. She's kind of fed up with all these rules and laws and stuff like that. So she rallies some tech savvy moms or she rallies them together because they have a radical plan to force the world to change. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
Like, like what, like, is it kind of makes me think of like Fight Club, but not the fighting part, but the way they were like going to bring down all the banks and cause chaos and things like that. So I don't know what their plan is, but it sounds really, really cool. I'm interested to check this one out. So we have our A cover here, and then we've got a Mulholland and Augusto variant. Ooh, oh, I wonder if they're like some kind of like anonymous,
Yeah.
like the anonymous hacking group.
So it sounds like it is not a sequel to Ralph Breaks the Internet, the Disney movie.
I don't think so.
Okay. Good to clarify. Okay, next up we've got a really fun one-shot Sabrina annual. And in this, they're introducing new characters, Amber Nightstein, Jade, and Sapphire. And these are new villains for Sabrina, where they are very power hungry and they kidnap Sabrina's family. And so Sabrina is will have to team up with other magical beings to help free them. So I just like, these really fun Archie one shots,
Yeah.
especially Sabrina and close to Halloween. This is just a
Yeah.
lot of fun. So just the one cover for this one as well. So next up, we've got our notable 2s and 3s. These are further into the series, but things we still want to make sure that you know about. Maybe you read the first one, you liked it, and you want to subscribe. We'll remind you that maybe you need to get on there and subscribe to it. So, starting off,
Batman number 137. So this is part 2 of the Gotham War. In this one, Batman is more driven than ever to save Gotham, but the landscape of Gotham has changed, and it's turned some friends into foes. And can anyone? So it says, can anyone stop his reign of terror? Meaning Batman's reign of terror, or and should they? So it kind of makes me wonder, like, is maybe this story from the point of view of somebody else? Maybe it's from the point of view of Catwoman, or maybe some other villains, and they view what he's doing as terrorizing when it's really just always what he's always done. So a little bit of interesting stuff here too. So we talked last week about the Gotham War. Was it
Battle
Lines?
or
I think,
something.
which is the kickoff to the Batman Catwoman Gotham War. This is part 2, and just to give you a little bit of information about this storyline too. This isn't a big coming out of Night Terrors, which was an event. This is just a story that's being told in 2 issues of Batman, 2 issues of Catwoman, and then I believe there's 4 like one shots. There's the beginning, there's the battle lines, there's 2 issues, there's a 2-issue thing with Red Hood, and then there's the Omega issue or whatever it's going to be called at the end. So really just 8 issues.
Yep.
It's just over in the Batman corner of the DC universe. It's not infiltrating any other books or things like that. So just want to give you a little bit more information about how it's structured and things like that. We have our A cover here. We've got a Joe Quesada connecting cardstock variant. So I guess it's going to connect with was one of the ones was the last week's one.
Think so.
Maybe it's going to connect with
I like
Catwoman.
this cat that's about to ambush
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah, nobody sneaks up on Batman except for those cats there. We have a Delado cardstock variant, which is pretty great. We have a Rose Besh variant, which there's a series of these, right?
Yeah,
Like where they're all like
kind of
little
an artist spotlight
Yeah.
series.
And there's a Pablo Villa Hispanic Heritage variant with
Very cool. And next up, we have Astonishing Iceman number 2. So if you enjoyed number 1, definitely subscribe to the series. And this one, it's Iceman defending his home. So it says the elements of doom target Bobby Drake's hometown, and it's up to him. I kind of like this. It's kind of what the Amazing Nightcrawler one is doing as well.
Right.
Where it's taking the X-Men, it's like when you put them by themselves, they kind of turn into just like singular superheroes.
Yeah. Because the X-Men aren't crime fighters.
Yeah.
I mean they fight bad guys and stuff, but they're not like crime fighters like stopping bank robbers and stuff. But a couple of them are now,
Yeah.
at least for a little while, which is pretty interesting.
And I called it Amazing Nightcrawler. That could be the sequel series because it's actually Uncanny Spider-Man.
Oh, that's right.
But Amazing Nightcrawler.
You went the complete
I
opposite
flipped
with it.
both
Yeah.
of the words. But no, I think this is really cool, and it's kind of cool to see these characters do something on their own.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is our A cover for that. We have an Edge variant, and this next one I really like. And I'm not sure if it's supposed to be an homage, but this is the Yoon variant, and it's very Silver Surfer Galactus.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from that. So really cool.
All right, so we have the 2nd issue of Sacrificers from Rick Remender. The first one came out a couple weeks back. This solicitation doesn't give us very much information about what the story is past the first issue. It just tells us more about how perfectly balanced the world is. There's no feast, but there's no famine. Nothing is fantastic, but nothing is really awful. Everything is just perfectly fine and normal. Um, but it's that harmony is thanks to the sacrifice of one child from each family. And we know from the solicitations of the first issue that um, a couple of those kids are going to sort of team up to bring down this whole tradition of sacrificing kids, and it's going to upset the utopia of the world. So, if you enjoyed the first issue, be sure to not miss this second issue. We have our Furiyama or Fumera cover, excuse me. And then also, this is the speaking of the first issue. This is the second printing of the first issue. So if the story sounds good, but you missed out on the first issue, you can order this second print of the first issue at the same time as the second issue as well. And I think that's just the one cover on the second printing.
Now, before we get into cool coverage, just want you can head over to infinityflux.net right now, where you can pre-order any of these comics you see us talking about here. Pre-order even more than that. You can order right now books that are already out, and everything you pre-order you get 10% off of. Subscribe to series, and just join our family of awesomeness.
Absolutely.
We would love for you to do that. So,
and if you do that,
what?
We don't have any fancy graphics, but if you use the promo code I love Flux, you get 10% off of an additional 10% off of your order. It is a one use per customer, but it doesn't expire, so there's no rush to use it. If you don't use it this week, you can use it next week. But just I love Flux, all one word, and get another 10% off.
Absolutely. Very, very cool. Now back to your regular scheduled programming. We are continuing on with cool covers. These are just really cool covers we think you would like to see. Of course, there's cool stuff going on inside of them as well. These covers really stood out to us. And we're going to start off with Incredible Hulk number 4. And I'm really excited about this
yes.
one. The series, I've really enjoyed it. It's a very, like, almost indie horror feeling thing. There hasn't been a whole lot of Hulk in it, but I think that's about to change because this is going to be a throwdown between Hulk and Man-Thing. Just, green versus green. I can't wait to see this I'm always happy to see more Man-Thing.
Sure.
I love Man-Thing, and he rarely comes around. He's usually only featured or whatever in Halloween stories. So
I want to see if his touch can burn the Hulk, and it looks like on the cover it might be. Yeah.
Yep.
That's gonna be fun.
Very, very cool up there. And this is just the A cover to the book.
Yeah. This is Death of Venomverse number 4. It caught me off guard because I forgot. So this is another Saturday morning variant to the Death of Venomverse number 4, just continuing Carnage's rampage through the multiverse, trying to kill anybody who is bonded with a Venom symbiote on any Earth. And Agent Venom from Earth 1051 has put a little team together to try to stop him. So yeah, this is really fun. So that's there's a lot of death and carnage, in that book. But this is a very cutesy cover to sort of offset that.
I do love that the Venom that you kind of see right there on the edge looks so much like the animated version with the blue and black. Very cool. And there's a couple of covers for this.
Oh, was it? I missed one. What's the other one? We got a Ken Nomura design variant. Oh yeah.
Like your pop star.
She was just in Edge or End of the Venom, Edge of Venom,
Edge of Venomverse.
Yeah, just came out. Yeah, she was in there. Oh, I wonder if we're gonna see her again. That'd be cool. We've also got a Mark Bagley variant. That's your Agent Venom from Earth 1051, and then a Ryan Stegman, the other variant that he's never gonna run out of these. There's always gonna be
so many.
So many, yeah.
Okay, next up we've got Star Wars Darth Vader. This is Darth Vader issue 38. It is continuing our Dark Droids tie-in. And this one sounds cool. So, of course, Vader's going to be in here. He's going to have to deal with the Scourge that is affecting all of the droids. Also, going up against the Empire himself, which we'll see what causes that. But also, it says the true character of Admiral Piet is revealed. And if you're longtime Star Wars fans, Admiral Piet is a classic original trilogy Imperial Admiral. So it'd be cool to see him show up in this. And this is our Casanovas Droids Connecting variant. And we have this Padme Clone Wars 15th anniversary cover as well.
All right, so next is City Boy number 4. This is the Inhyukli cardstock variant. This one sounds really fun. This guest stars Nightwing. Nightwing needs City Boy's help to track down a criminal in Bloodhaven, but City Boy's powers are going all wonky. And he's able to see events that took place hundreds of years ago in certain parts of the city. So that sounds fun. Like
Yeah.
this has been a really fun series. Superman been in an issue, and then now we're gonna get a little bit of Nightwing action in there, and Bitewing as well, according to the cover. So yeah, definitely don't miss this cover and this book.
And yeah, and he's on his shoulder. He's got
Oh yeah,
critter.
his little city.
And I
pet.
wonder if that's because Gotham looked like a little rat. I wonder if this is what Bloodhaven looks
Oh,
like.
maybe,
if
yeah.
Bloodhaven like little animal form is this.
Yeah. Well, actually, the tape on it says Gotham. So I wonder if it followed him from Gotham. Like, doesn't it fall apart if it leaves the city limits?
That's what I
don't know.
We'll see. And next up, we have Justice Society of America, number 6. So this is issue number 6 of 12. And I don't know if I knew that this was a 12-issue maxi series, but this kind of at least confirms it for me.
Yeah.
I hadn't noticed that before.
I thought it was a 6-issue miniseries.
Yeah, because the end of the last issue kind of felt like a pretty definitive end to lead on into the other Golden Age books. But
I'll take it.
Yeah,
if you want to give me 12 instead of 6 issues, absolutely.
So in this one, it's going to kind of bring back the Stargirl and the Lost Children characters are finally going to meet up with the Justice Society characters, and they're kind of merging those two storylines. So this is our connecting variant by Yannick Paquette, and we have this really nice Villalobos Hispanic Heritage Month variant with this is Wildcat 2 or 3. I don't remember. I think 2 looked like had like a cat head.
Yeah, I think so.
So really cool. I love this. I love Catman and any of the incarnations.
And what's great is this is 12 issues. It's going to be running while we also get that Alan Scott series and the Jay Garrick series and the Wesley Dodds series.
Yep.
So you're gonna have like 2 books of like classic. That's awesome. All right, so this is a Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, number 10. This is a really nice Matina variant. The solicitation says, "The Battle of the Jokers begins." So that sounds pretty cool. Joker is taken down by the Joker. I don't really know why or what that's all about, but it should be pretty cool. And this cover, it's from the face from the New 52 Detective Comics. Maybe that's
gonna come back.
Could come back, yeah.
Okay, next up we got Poison Ivy number 14. So Poison Ivy is back in Gotham City, and Pamela Isley is going to be investigating a strange skyscraper that has appeared, which feels like Batman might also need to be on top of that.
Yeah.
But at the center of this mystery is a new villain for entering the Poison Ivy pantheon. So I like how Poison Ivy is a rogues gallery member of Batman, and now she's getting her own rogues gallery. She's definitely elevated now in the superhero pantheon to her own standalone character.
Can we talk about her claws? Her vine claws?
Very X-2030.
That's very cool.
Super cool in there. And this is our David Nakayama cover. We've got our Otto Schmidt variant. And we have a Rose Besh variant.
There's another one of those, yeah. So here we have Peacemaker Tries Hard. This is 5 out of 6. This series has been fantastic, so funny. In this one, Peacemaker sets out to save Bruce Wayne, his dog Bruce Wayne, not billionaire Bruce Wayne. This cover here is from Daniel Warren Johnson, holy cow, and then Chris Anka movie poster variant.
Is this a kindergarten cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I think so. Something. I mean, there weren't like babies on that, but I think this is paying homage to that with little Deathstroke babies
with the little beards,
eye patches, and the one with the clip. Yeah.
So next up we have Shazam number 3. This is our variant covered by Chris Samney, and in this one, Shazam is going up against the Emperor of the Moon and gorillas who left Gorilla City versus the Captain. So very, very cool one here. This is the Chris Samney cover with Talkin' Tawny just chilling there. He's a little bit more classy than his
Yeah.
fellow Tigers. And we have this John
Oh,
Timms variant.
the John Timms covers for this have been fantastic.
Yep.
All right, so here is Superman number 6. Now we're going to talk more about this in 2 weeks because all of the other covers are on final order cutoff the weekend, like right around August 27th. But this cover is a special acetate cover. So this is what you'll see, and when you open it, it'll be like Superman. It'll be in his costume. So if you don't pre-order this weekend, you'll still have a chance to get some of the other covers in a couple weeks, but because these take a little bit longer to put together, to print and all that stuff, this cover in particular is on FOC this weekend. The art is by Michael Janin, and yeah, I mean these are always really fun
Yeah.
when you open them up and there's more
I'm
underneath.
guessing that's going to be cut out.
Yeah, you're gonna see the Superman symbol.
And you'll probably open it, and then he'll be in the full Superman
Yeah, his
suit.
glasses are gone, and I think his arms are down.
Okay.
So like the part in the middle will be transparent. The white on the sides will be solid because his arms are in a completely different position.
Very cool.
And the glasses, I guess, are just like floating, and they'll be gone too. And just real quick about this, like I said, we'll talk more about it in a couple weeks. But this is the first appearance of a new Superman villain called the Chained, and it's the start of a whole new story arc too, featuring that villain.
Cool. And next up, we've got other printings and graphic novels. So these are printings of books that were really popular, and you might want to grab them, and collected editions, graphic novels, all that fun stuff. Starting off with one I'm really excited about. We don't talk about a whole lot of manga on here, but I've been a fan of all of these. Dark Horse has been putting out editions of H.P. Lovecraft stories. They've done at the Mountains of Madness. They did The Hound and other stories. Now they're doing Shadow over Innsmouth. Very classic when you think of Lovecraft stories. He comes to a town. He gets kind of a layover in a town. The town is very weird. The people there kind of have a fishy look to them. And then it turns into a night of horror as they chase him around the city.
Do you mean literal fishy like that, or fishy as in suspicious?
No, fishy, like their eyes are a little too far apart.
Okay.
Their lips are a little like kind of like what this dude looks
Yeah.
like on the cover.
Okay.
And it turns into this guy. He's on the run when he realizes that like there's some kind of unnatural thing in this city. They're gonna try to sacrifice him to their fish god. It just, and these are such good adaptations. The art is phenomenal. Like the art you see on the cover is very similar to the art on the interior. The Mountains of Madness is a 2-volume one that is I recommend to everybody that is a fan of manga and horror that they come through here. So don't miss this one. This is $29.99 for this edition.
Yeah, all this kind of stuff, especially like all the Lovecraft stuff, that is a big gap in my nerddom. I don't know a lot about any of this stuff, but that I need to get into that. That's a whole new world of stories.
There's a fantastic podcast, the H.P. Lovecraft Literary Podcast. It's where I really got into it. Just a shout out to them. It's just a great. They go over all of his stories.
Nice.
Super good.
All right, so next is the trade paperback for Cosmic Detective. This is from Jeff Lemire and Matt Kent. It's going to be $17.99. I actually haven't heard of this one. Like, what?
I thought it was just a graphic novel. I didn't think it was actually ever single issues.
Oh, well, this solicitation says trade paperback, but yeah, it might be. I don't know. It could be a great. It's a thick book full of awesome stories. So regardless of whether it's collected or not, but this is a science fiction mystery. When a god is murdered, who solves the crime? Well, I guess the Cosmic Detective on that cover does. So in this story, the murder of a god threatens the fabric of reality. So this detective is going to start looking into all that, try to investigate. But the mystery that he uncovers is worse than the disaster that he's trying to avert, the disaster of the undoing of reality. He finds something even worse than that. So it sounds really interesting. Like I said, I've not heard of this before, so this is definitely going to be a book worth checking out if you haven't either, but you think it sounds good. And yeah, $17.99.
And next up is one that I've been recommending to you.
We were just talking about this the other day.
This is one I made sure I could talk about because I've read all this and I love it. So if you're familiar with Joshua Williamson, who is the current writer on Superman, Green Arrow, all of that, this is one of his earliest works. This is Ghosted, came out from Image. This is collecting the whole thing. And this is a story of just like one of the richest men ever, this billionaire. He has everything, but he's got a very like unique taste in things, and he hires an ex kind of con man thief. He was like the best at the business or whatever, could steal anything. He's been in jail. This guy gets him out of jail and basically says, "I need you to put together a team." Very Ocean's 11. This is
Yeah.
very much based on like kind of an Ocean's 11 type story. I need you to put together a team because I want you to go into this house and steal a ghost. It's something I don't have in my collection. I don't own a ghost. And so this guy has to like, does he even believe in ghosts? He's got a very tragic backstory that slowly unfolds throughout the series. He puts together a team of like, this is so and so. He's the brains. This is so and
I
so.
love that
He's
kind
the,
of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they attempt to go to this house, and horror commences, but it's a mix of like a heist and a ghost story. So can't recommend this enough. This is the Ghosts Compendium. This is going to be $29.99, which is a great price, and can has all the issues of it. I think it's like, I forgot how many issues. It's like 15, 16, something like that. So definitely recommend this, and see where Joshua Williamson kind of cut his teeth in mainstream
Yeah,
comics
he's so good at horror, and this coming out right around. Wait, do we know what the release date is?
when it comes out.
Yeah.
I believe this is kind of first week in September, I believe.
Okay.
It's in time for
In time for
Halloween.
Halloween. That's
Yeah.
all. That's what I was checking on.
Yeah.
That's what. Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait for that.
Also, Matteo Scalera covers,
Ooh,
which
yeah.
some of his early work too.
Nice. All right, so here we have the facsimile edition of Micronauts #1. So just in the last couple months, it was announced that Marvel got the rights back to ROM. They had last week we had the ROM facsimile edition and the ROM omnibus, the ROMnibus. Now we
As
have
it should be
as it
called.
should be called. They have the Zomnibus and the Venomnibus, so hopefully it's the ROMnibus. Now we have the facsimile edition of Micronauts #1, and there is an omnibus on the way. I thought it was on FOC along with this, but it's not this weekend anyway. But yeah, it's just cool that they're getting the rights to some of this, older '70s stuff back that we've never. It's never been collected, at least recently anyway, or digital or anything like that. So if you want to check out the Micronauts, if you want to see what they're all about, get a little bit of classic licensed Marvel stuff in there, then you grab this facsimile edition. And there's a blank variant as well, and there's a foil variant of this first cover.
They can call it the microbus.
Yeah, right, the Micromnibus.
Micromnibus. We're just throwing them gold.
Why were the Conan omnibuses not called the Cromnibus?
Oh man,
missed opportunity, Marvel. Come on, maybe Titan will do that.
yeah. Get on it. Okay, next up we have a reprint of the X-Men Hellfire Gala. I actually really like this cover because this is, more in line with what happens in the Hellfire Gala. The classic cover was this, but without the X, the bloody X over it. But if you read it, it's actually closer to this. So if you missed the X-Men Hellfire Gala, you'll want to pick this one up.
All right, so here is the Batman Day 2023 special edition foil variant of Batman #608, which is the first issue in the very awesome Hush storyline by Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee. I don't know if the whole thing's going to be foil. It probably will be. DC's usually run that way. This is going to be $9.99. But Hush is a fantastic story. The artwork's fantastic. The cover is great. And now you can get a foil version of it on Batman Day.
I'm hoping that we're gonna get a chance to talk about Batman Day. Batman Day it's not like as big as Free Comic Book Day or anything like that. But this Batman Day is gonna have a lot of special things. So I'm hoping maybe we can do a Batman Day special or something like that.
Do we know when it is yet?
I think it's early September.
Yeah, it's still a little ways out, so we'll get more details and more concrete information as we get closer to it.
Yeah, but there is going to be some original content.
Oh,
Usually
very
it's just
nice.
reprints,
Yeah.
but there's going to be some original content.
Very cool.
So, very cool. And next up, we have the hardcover of Superman by Joshua Williamson. This is, I know for both of us, one of our favorite series coming out right now. This is Super Core, the first, I believe, first 6 issues of that storyline for $24.99. If you're not reading this, check it out. Even if you're not, I know there's a lot of people who don't really consider themselves Superman fans. I think this could change your mind.
Absolutely.
On it. This is just fantastic, fantastic story. And continues to be great, so I think everyone should pick this one up.
Yeah, this is the first 5 issues, and then the annual,
okay,
which just came out, and it's great. Like this would be if you're looking to find a good new Superman book to read. This is it right here. Everything in this book is fantastic.
Yep. So highly recommend that. And that is it for this week of Comics from the Future. Thank you so much for watching. Again, don't forget to go over to infinityflux.net where you can pre-order these books right now. Use that code Infinity.
I love Flux.
I love Flux.
Yeah.
All one word, all lowercase, and you can get 10% additional 10% off of everything. So very, very cool. Make sure to join us on Monday for our early comic preview show. We'll be going over some of the biggest books coming out next week. Some really good ones I'm very excited about reading. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yep.
That means so much to us. Every subscription just warms our heart a little bit more.
Share the video, ring the bell for notifications because we got 4 every week. So yeah, do all the click all the buttons.
Show your grandma. Sit there,
That's right.
shove in her face, say, watch this, grandma, and then tell her to make a YouTube account and like it.
That's right.
That's insane. I told you to do that.
Yeah.
I'll take the heat for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you so much for watching, and until next time,
See ya.
bye.